So what's up everyone, and welcome back to another week's episode of Sailing Lady Africa. This is the video that you guys have all been waiting for. So if you want to know, keep on watching this video and we'll explain to you how we bought a bargain catamaran and we finished it and everything's great and we broke. Get yourself a snack. Don't get yourself some wine to drink, because otherwise you might spit it out when you hear some of the figures. It was shocking to us too. Put your feet up, relax, and let's get to it.
Welcome to Sailing Lady Africa. I'm Ricky, and this is my wife Simone.
After 2 years of hard work on our boat, she's finally ready to take us from South Africa across the Atlantic to the Bahamas. Be sure to join in our adventures by subscribing down below.
So firstly, to start with the boat, we bought a Dean 365 catamaran. Fantastic little cats. They've been around the world. They kind of... There's a bloody seal distracting me.
Where is he?
Right outside there. The big fat seal.
Yo, fatty. He's like a ball.
Hey fat mother. Dude, he is fat.
But back on a serious note.
So initially we got to show you what we bought. We bought this. And we paid $19,000. You might think, well, you already overpaid. And we probably did. But we got to take into consideration $19,000 included our flights to check the boat out, included purchasing the boat, included haul out of the boat twice, because we had to haul out for the inspection, fly back home, get all the paperwork ready, speak to a lawyer, those costs too, fly back to the boat, get it hauled out the second time, get set up for the boat. So all of that cost $19,000. So hindsight of thinking, where can you buy a catamaran? Not ready to go obviously, but a catamaran with a mast and some sails for $19,000. We thought it was a fair price. Thinking of it now, probably paid too much for it.
And just in mind, in South Africa, as you see, a lot of other sailing channels have bought a boat for $1, or there's a lot of those things going around. That does not exist in South Africa.
Yeah.
People do not sell their boats for $1.
You don't know dollar boats in South Africa. Everything still has some value if it's,
Even if it's falling apart.
unless it's in the bottom of the ocean and everything's corroded off, you could get that for $1. So purchase price of the boat, $19,000. It looked like this, and now she looks like this. So to get to that point, let's explain to you exactly how we spent our money and where we spent our money.
I wanted to be realistic. A lot of people look at it and say that it's like, we show the fun side about it, and like it's really cool to rebuild a boat, but we decided we need to show the realistic side of it too.
Yeah.
And that's money. It's a lot of money.
At the end of the day, as much as people want to paint this beautiful picture, you are going to spend money. This boat's going to cost you, whichever boat you buy. If you want to sail comfortably, it's going to cost you money. If you want to buy a sailboat and go sail it in the Bahamas, and it's in the Bahamas, and you don't want to have a fridge, and you don't want to have hot water, and you don't want to have a cold drink, and you don't want to have solar panels, and you want to live really minimalistic, you could probably get a boat for a really good price and just let it float around. But if you want to be like us, we got to cross an Atlantic Ocean. We've got to do 7,000 miles of sailing before we get to the place where we want it to be. You're going to need a boat that's capable of doing that. Most important, the costs. So we have it on Excel spreadsheet, but we thought, well, it's better to tell you guys and walk through each thing that we went. So initially we bought the boat, as we've told you guys. And then we started going into the basic phases of going through the boat, looking at the boat, like really in depth. Like once you've bought the boat, you haven't really seen where's the true potential and true problems. But once you start ripping stuff out, you find the beauty lying beneath. And that's where you start spending money. So like, you're not happy with this, you want to change it. And that's where our bill started. So in wood alone for this boat, and that included making molds for stuff, and wood for that we used inside, and we used marine ply. Everything was hardwood marine ply. We did use the best material available that we could, not even to what we could afford. We bought the best material available because I thought that, well, that's the standard that we're going to build to, and that's what we're going to do. So in wood alone, $4,000, and everything was based on the dollar exchange rate between what it is now and at the time of when we started the boat, to get a good medium between the two, because we built for 2 years, and over that 2 years period everything has changed prices and the exchange rate went up and down, and it's just easier and for everyone to understand in USD. So in resin adhesives, and this might shock you, so all resin epoxies, all fiberglass that we bought, micro balloons, fume silica, Nidacor, Corcel, everything that we bought, that was $7,000. And remember, the prices I'm telling you guys is purely just purchasing material. And not only that, all this material was purchased directly from the suppliers. We did not go to a boat store and say, well, I'd like to buy $7,000 worth of resin from you guys. No, we bought from the manufacturers or the suppliers to get the best deal possible. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these figures and you're thinking of a boat, and be like, if you're buying this at a marine store, double or triple the prices that we're giving you at least. On to the next thing was paint. That included painting the entire boat. This boat was ugly, she was blue, so it used a lot of paint, a heap ton of paint. And that included priming the entire boat in epoxy primer, priming the entire hull 2 to 3 coats of epoxy primer, anti-fouling the bottom, painting the entire surface area, which Simone will tell you was a mission, because she did every single cabinet inside with epoxy primer first, and then 2 coats of urethane on top of that. So we painted the boat, what I think is really well. And that total came to none other than $4,000, which I think we really got a good deal. The paint suppliers, we went to the supplier. And that was the biggest thing, and how we saved money. We have the top of the line, polished, smooth, anti-fouling, best for speed. No, we don't. We have a good, reliable, say high quality range, but not a high performance anti-fouling. So all of the cost of any coating paint, we paid $4,000. Then by this point, we're already really deep into the boat. We found things that we didn't want to see. We were so far into it that pulling out of the deal, we would pretty much be losing $25,000 straight off the top, excluding an old vehicle that we had bought after we had sold our vehicles, because they wouldn't have been practical to build a boat in. We had sold our apartment. We moved out of our province, what we call it in South Africa, but call it out of state for the rest of the people. And we relocated. We rented a little place in the beginning, and we moved even to a smaller place as the costs got higher. And
we pretty much committed financially, emotionally, physically, everything to this boat.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like, we were prepared. This is what we were gonna do. So we pretty much cancelled all insurances. We changed our medical insurance just to like a hospital plan in case of emergency.
Super basic.
And cell phone plans, we cancelled that. We ended up just doing prepaid. So we pretty much cut all our overheads to make our living costs as minimal as possible.
The next big bill is the shocker. So this includes, we redid all the plumbing in the boat. Every last pipe is out. Put new plumbing. We ran over 3 kilometers of new wiring. And that's from plugs to battery cables to winch cables, to every single last bit of wire was replaced on the boat. Lighting cables, you name it. If there was a cable on this boat, it was replaced, and it was replaced with tin coated cables. Probably one of the most expensive cables you could buy, in the sense of buying cables. And then again, we didn't buy from a marine store, we bought from the manufacturer in South Africa.
Just not just our time that we spent building, but our time running around trying to find the suppliers and good deals.
We spent a vast amount of time in the evening searching for suppliers and manufacturers and who makes this stuff and all of those kind of things. How the logistics work anywhere else in the world. I know in the US you guys got a fantastic system. You climb on Amazon, you think, and you ship it, done, boom, it comes up your door the next day. Well, that don't exist here. We have to contact the supplier, send them an email with an order. If they accept it, that's after you've negotiated that you're going to buy from these guys and you're buying large volumes and all of this stuff. So they agree, you pay the money EFT, then you have to organize a courier company, go pick it up, a shipping company, and then he has to deliver it to either your location, which is your residence, or otherwise to where you're building.
And sometimes you have to wait like a week before you even get something.
at least a week. So plumbing, all new plumbing, John Guest Quick Fit. It's fantastic system. I love it. If I had to do another system again, I would definitely recommend that again. Simone did a lot of plumbing.
It's super like easy to do.
Yeah. I think it's
simple.
Definitely the way to do.
Yeah.
Can't corrode.
No.
Can never rust. No funny fittings on it. It's pretty much, I feel it's a standard. A lot of the marine stores we've been to, we've seen the same fittings over and over and over. This price that we're about to tell you includes also all the electrical components. So like our electrical panels that we bought an AC and a DC panel, 4 mattresses, our countertop for mica, cushions interior, hatches, sound system, electrical panels, our chargers, lithium batteries, gas system. We ran a completely new gas system. We went with lithium batteries just because of the reason that a lot of the systems and the way we designed the electrical system would require a good power source, and for that we'd need efficiency, and the only thing that delivers that is lithium. So we went with a much smaller bank that we had. We chucked a whole bunch of lead acid batteries out, and we've got at the moment 320 amp hours of lithium, and it's doing an amazing job. Hot water heater, USB ports, fans, and a whole bunch of accessories around the boat, and that came to $30,000. Ouch. So that was huge, but it got us pretty far.
Everything that goes into the boat is pretty much included in that price, besides the big components of our boat. But all the little things, USB chargers, fans, all that stuff, the little small things were included in that.
And it's crazy to think, like, when you look at small things and you're like, well, that's only $20 and that's only $30. Those things add up so quickly. You close your eyes again and you're sitting at where we told you, $30,000 later. At this point, it's a year down the line and we think we are so close to finishing the boat. We are like around the corner. We'll have her in the water next month. You know, maybe a month or two later, she'll be done. Well, then we start with the sailing gear, Lumar gear, new Lumar tracks, new Lumar deck gear, all play. And we didn't go for high performance stuff, guys. We went with the standard run-of-the-mill, good quality Lumar gear. In the second year process, we need an engine, and that was a single engine that was going to go in the middle. We ended up spending $3,000 to purchase this engine. It was brand new, but it wasn't a marine diesel engine. It was a car engine that we needed to modify. Although it came with 0 hours and everything, it was painted up to the color we wanted and everything. The modification started after that, and we ended up chucking over $3,000 into it. So at the end of the day, we're in for $6,000 into this engine. But we thought to ourselves, if the engine is $6,000 and that could propel us, that's a bargain deal, because a marine engine with the same horsepower would be well over $15,000. So we bit the bullet, we did this, we did the whole conversion, and in that process we built a relationship with Vitas, and Vitas offered us a deal that we couldn't refuse. Obviously we didn't have the money to buy engines. These Vitas engines, you're probably starting, if you had to go look online today, at $7,000 an engine, and we needed 2 engines. So you're looking at $14,000 plus exhaust systems, control systems for that, battery links, charging systems for lithium batteries. I mean, don't look at an engine price and think, well, that's just the price for the engine. Once you've added all those accessories, add 50% more to that price to get that thing installed. And that's like, we haven't even included installation labor, we haven't even included beddings, nothing. So we made the deal with the engines. We got the engines, we ended up investing money into what we thought was important as a water maker. We built our own water maker, we ended up selling that water maker and making a deal for another water maker. But I still kept the price of that water maker, because at the end of the day, even though we got this new water maker, we technically still paid for it. And that price came in, which also included all new deck gear, hard gear, new rigging, new standing rigging for the mast, running rigging. Pretty much a brand new boat, except for the hull. We've got a brand new boat, and that was an additional $40,000. Yep, it was a big freaking cost. The engines we still haven't paid off. We're still paying off the engines. We still keep on working. Whenever we get work, we go work. Any consulting work I can do, I still go do it. So it hasn't been a thing of, oh well, you've got a YouTube channel. Nah, that's not going to pay in South Africa. To be realistic, if you can't carry yourself for 3 years, at least 3 years,
Yeah,
and
at
that's with
least.
working in between there a lot. There was times where I was away from the boat build for 3 months.
Yeah, easily. Not just once.
Yeah,
It
a
was
number of
couple
times.
times.
So that was so in the work that we did just in PE alone, which is where we were when we did the boat build, I was working at other people's boats and sites and consulting during the day, and then at night we were working on the boat, and we did that every single day, 7 days a week. And you think I'm exaggerating? Wait until you start building your boat and you think you're going to finish it in 2 years from scratch. You'll see how quickly you have to put a lot of time into it. So that's when we come to the end. After selling our engine that we had in the middle and recovering some money, obviously we took a big knock on it. We came to a total of $104,000 for what we would consider a brand new catamaran. Now, if you think $104,000 is an affordable price and you think, well, you'd like to do it for that, some words that you should consider is we built this at $104,000 with all the knowledge we had and all the contacts that we had and the contacts that friends of ours had. We put everything together to get the best deal possible that I feel we could have done on getting supplies of materials. And along the way, I must say, there's been a lot of guys that have helped us out with really good pricing. I mean, example, a guy like our stainless steel guy, he helped us out. I know if you had to do that anywhere else, in terms of engineering, the guys would have charged you way more than that.
We came from the States to do our rigging for us
Yeah.
as well. We just had to buy the materials.
Yeah.
Like that, if you had to pay for someone to do that, it would also add to the costs as well.
So for example, like our Dyneema rigging came out at the end of the day after everything was set to about $1,600 US. So that's pretty cheap, right? Well, you need to add this. It took us 3 days to build the entire rig. Not full, but I'd say at least 6-7 hours a day, and we had to learn those skills and do it. By the time you add our labor into that, if you could charge labor, you would probably be at the same price or what you could buy in South Africa, if you know the right people, standing rigging. Price the same rig in the US, just out of curiosity, and I got a guy to send us a mail, and you're looking at about $5,000 for standing rigging, so that's American prices. To give you an idea, different places, certain things might be cheaper. Example, our electronics all came from the US. Our Raymarine equipment, everything came from the US. And that's half the price of us in South Africa. But if you factor in a couple of things, tax, import, customs, if it gets stuck there, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And you cannot send the stuff back.
Coming to the topic, the questions we've received numerous times. What would we have done different? And would we do it again?
I think you need to have a mission for the boat and be realistic for the mission of that boat. So our boat was going to be our house for the next 3 to 4 years. So we wanted something comfortable, we wanted something that was a condo type, and we knew we were going to cross an Atlantic with it. So we needed a blue water ready boat, or a boat that could pass all the South African certifications to be blue water ready to go across the ocean, which means we needed to spend a lot of money on safety gear that we also didn't budget for. If I had done it again, and if I knew what I know now, I would have probably bought a boat that's already in the Caribbean, because that was our top destination to go for. And we wouldn't have probably bought a cat because we wouldn't have been able to afford it there. Looked at a lot of boats in the Med. In fact, before we bought our boat, we nearly flew out to the Med to go buy a 38-foot mono. And looking back, I'm glad that deal failed, because that guy bought a real lemon. We thought we had a lemon. That guy dumped loads more money into that boat. And so appearances can be really deceiving. So if I had done it different, yeah, I would have probably gone to the Med, not to the Med, to the Caribbean and bought a mono.
How you bought this boat? So what would you have done differently specifically with this boat?
I think realistically, for the amount of money we've spent and for the time that I've looked at other boats, like I've seen people buying cats at around the $100,000 market. And I mean, this is a 36-foot cat, she's not a very big cat. But I've seen similar boats and what people have paid for them. And people either haven't finished the boats because they ran well above the budget. They got people to come and do the boats for them, and that went well above the budget. They never ended up 4 or 5 years down the line, and they're just given up on the projects. So I think for the money we've invested, for the platform that we have, I think we did pretty well for ourselves. Well, I think this figure is realistic. I don't think this could be easily multiplied. So I don't think you could easily do this over a broad spectrum of catamaran and come out to the same results.
Considering the size that she is,
size of the boat,
and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had to go buy even a 40 footer, it would have cost us more. I think the only thing I would have liked to do differently is maybe having an enclosed warehouse or something.
Definitely.
That would have been
Definitely.
a game changer for us, because the weather affected us a lot. And being in PE, everyone knows it's a windy city.
Yeah.
So when it came to painting, you literally had a day to do your painting, because the next day it would have been howling, or it was uncomfortable working outside when it was windy and rainy and things
really
like
tough.
that.
We had a warehouse that could just shelter us from the wind and shelter us from the rain. That would have been a huge plus.
Would we do it again? Now this is my favorite one. I'll let Ricky do it first.
No, you go
From a
first.
man's perspective.
You go first.
Would I do it again? Hell no. Am I glad I did it? Yes. Am I happy I learned a lot? Yes. Do I love my boat? Yes. It's an awesome boat. But to go through all that again, you couldn't pay me to do it.
Would I do it again?
Don't lie to yourself.
Let me put the terms and conditions to this. Someone else's credit card, someone else's nice big warehouse where it's climate controlled, off the plan boat. So a boat that's already come pre-cut and you're gonna stick it together, or you got a mold for it. Must be climate controlled. Yeah, and the biggest thing is someone else's budget.
But is it someone else's budget for your boat, or is it for their own boat?
No, for my boat.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not building a boat for anyone else.
Exactly.
This thing, it's a labor of love. If we had to include labor into it, and I've got a little figure for you guys. Sum up our hours that we put in. That's me, Simone, and Moses. We put in 15,000 hours into this boat.
Just crazy.
Which is freaking insane.
It felt like a lifetime. Longest 15,000 hours of my life.
And we've looked at a whole bunch of other designs. There was a stage where I was looking at like owning design boats. If you think you're gonna build that boat for under $200,000, winches and everything, you are highly mistaken. I think look more in the figures of 250 to 300,000 if you're very good at doing it. And that would be on a 40-foot boat. If you are planning on doing a boat, make sure that you do your research very carefully. If you look at the price of engines, don't just add that engine price, add everything else around it. If you're looking at doing electrical, add electrical cable. Electrical cable will cost you a fortune. We spent over $2,000 in electrical cable alone.
If you can over budget, if something says it's gonna cost you $2,000, double or triple it. Even though you might not use all that money on that specific task, somewhere you're going to need that money to pay for something else.
The only thing that we've got coming up is our last brand new purchase, which is a new Jenny sail. We're still chatting to the sale guys about it, but we're super looking forward to that. And this is pretty much a brand new boat, except for the hull. Everything else is brand new on the boat. And I think for $104,000 for that, sure, there's odds and ends that we still need to add. We recently got 2 lithium chargers to do our balance charging from our alternators, and that adds up a little bit. They are expensive, but I think for that kind of money, I think we did very well.
To come to another topic I just want to discuss is that if you plan on doing a boat build, but you are still going to maintain your job and everything, do not think it's going to take you 2 years to do it if you're going to do it on a weekend. We went full out into this boat because if we had to go back to our old lives and go back to working and everything, we probably would have not been saving.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it our way, make sure you have enough money to sustain yourself and finish your boat.
Yeah. And you're probably gonna have to work in between like we did, and we did it. I think on the other side is we had sold everything. We had nothing else to go back to. We didn't have our jobs, we didn't have our cars anymore, we didn't have a property. We would have just gone to fall back in. So then we kind of weighed the options. Where are we worse off, you know?
We're back in
And just
with
kind of
our parents.
take the failure rate, chuck the money,
Exactly.
and but that was an option.
You are doing this project with your partner as well. Prepared. It is stressful. It is tiring. It takes everything from you emotionally, physically, mentally. Both sides. And there are going to be many days where you have to be the strong one or they have to be the strong one. And it's going to be tension and it's going to be tough. But if you can overcome this, I feel you can overcome anything.
Yeah, it's not a walk in the park.
It's not the same as building a house. Ricky can attest to that because he's built many houses.
And this was way tougher than building any of those that we've built. Way, way, way tougher. You need to have your mindset ready for you're gonna do the work yourself. If you got lots of money, don't worry about any information we're giving you. You're gonna be perfectly fine.
You'll be fine.
Because you're gonna get someone else to do everything and then you'll be perfectly fine. But if you don't and you are doing it on the budget, think nicely about it. So some key tips to take into consideration when you do it.
But we're here now in beautiful Cape Town and we're happy we did it.
Yeah. And after everything that we've told you, if you guys still think it's a great idea, then you might be ready to do it yourself. So good luck, kick ass, stay committed, and don't let anyone tell you cannot do it.
So hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell to alert you every time we upload a new episode, and give this video a thumbs up. If you'd like to support our videos, you can do so by joining our awesome Patreon family. The link is in the description below.
And if you guys want to see what this boat that we're talking about looks like, check out our previous week's episode where we show you the interior of the boat, or the episode before that where we show you the exterior, and you guys can get a full view of what we've built. And if you really want to see what she looked like before, go back to the beginning and watch those first episodes. We'll give you an idea of the lemon that we bought.
Have an awesome week, guys, and keep on trucking.
I still love you.
I still love you.
Because I have to love you because I got no money left.
Well, no woman will love you either because you got no money left.